Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Berryman here. Welcome, everyone, to our Bringing Humanity Together live stream event, which is none other than Humanity Happy Hour, hosted by none other than our great friend and partner and my mentor as well, Carla Fedigan, as you see here today. This is one of the three open forums under the Bringing Humanity Together umbrella, where people can discuss topics related to the workplace and humanity in the workplace in a very positive and constructive way. We want to know what the issues that are out there are facing people today, because it is our goal to both work with employers and employees to work to bring humanity back into the workforce. And as always, remember we always be going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, except for Conversation for Humanity on Wednesday has a 15-minute meet and greet session before 3 o'clock and everything. So remember, always on Tuesday, Sharon Kara Sandy Chernoff. Wednesday, I host Conversation for Humanity. And of course, today is none other than Humanity Happy Hour, hosted by Carla Fedigan. And as you jump on, feel free to comment in the chat wherever you're watching from, whether it to be our LinkedIn business page or Facebook business page, um, our Twitter account, our YouTube channel, of course, here also on LinkedIn Live. Let us know where you're watching from, and even share the replay with your friends, colleagues, and coworkers. And also, if you do see this on the replay, use the hashtag replay, comment, ask questions, and we would love to have a great and engaging conversation with you. So reach out to us. And just let people know we can have up to 10 people on the live stream at a time. And if you'd like to be able to be a part of the live stream, just comment in whatever platform that you're on, and we'll get you in and send you the link. And I will put the link in the LinkedIn comment section here shortly, so you guys can join on and everything. So feel free to comment, ask questions. We would love to have a great and engaging conversation with you. So hello, Miss Carla. How are you?
Hey, Chris. Good to see you again. How's your day been?
Another day, another day. So
another day in paradise. How's the weather down there?
Another day in paradise. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. How's life in Florida today?
Today was hot.
Yeah.
95 degrees.
Wow.
I'm sweating down here.
Oh, well. I think it's in the 80s here in Georgia, and we finally haven't had any rain. Well, we got some rain last night around the golf course, but none at my house. It was really, really amazing. But hey, could be worse, you know?
That it could.
Could be worse. Don't look at it, you know? Today I was thinking that we were going to talk about something that's come up. You know how you hear these topics and then you go, oh, what is that? And then you go look it up and figure out what it is. And then every time you turn around, somebody else is talking about it. And that topic for me is the Great Resignation that they're talking about. We know that 8 million women left the workforce back in the fall, just in the United States alone, to take care of family, because a lot of kids were out of school and doing virtual learning. And then they're talking about another big resignation for people. Let's face it, we've been under chronic stress for almost 2 years now, year and a half. And, I don't like to get into the mask conversations and the COVID conversations and things like that, but it's out there and it's causing a whole lot of stress on people. A lot of people are being told that they have to go back to the workforce or to the workplace, to the office. And a lot of people are going, no, I want to work from home. It's fitting into their lives better. They have found balance over the past 18 months. They have realized that they were eating up a lot of time, maybe in commuting back and forth. A lot of different reasons. A lot of people said, hey, I actually enjoy being at home with my family. I never realized that I could even enjoy working from home. And a lot of people even say that they're more productive. But, it changes day to day what's going to happen with a workforce. And that causes so much stress for people. Kids are getting ready to go back to school here in Georgia next week. No, 2 weeks from now. And, I was just talking to my dad yesterday, wondering when his county was going back to school. And that led to looking at other counties in the area. Kids are going back to school. Now there's talk about, do the kids have to wear masks? Do they not? Are we in the clear for COVID? Are we not? We've been through the regular COVID, and then there's the Delta, and now we're talking about the Gamma, and it's like one day you think that you're humming along, the next day you've got chaos, and then you're humming along, and then you got chaos. People just don't know what to do, and a lot of people are just saying, "I'm over it. I'm going to go do something else." They don't know what they're going to do. For some people, and I applaud those people. I can't take a jump like that, but there's a lot of people that are saying, I want more. And it used to be, it was the millennials that were, and we used to joke about it. You've seen probably the little videos that the girl's sitting there doing her little interview, and she's looking at the boss, and she's doing this. And you want me to come in at 8? That's not going to work. I don't start my day till 11. And I need to leave at 4 because I've got to go to the gym after that. That kind of, that's satire, but in actuality, the millennials want to live differently. They want to give back to the world. They want to create their own work. College may not be for them.
Right.
The people that go to technical school, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People want to be different than just do the 9 to 5. And you're finding that it's not only the millennials, it's a lot of the middle-aged people and a lot of the older people that are like, time is short. How do I want the next year to look? How do I want the next 5 years to look? How do I want the next 10 years to look? And while that's great, I encourage everybody to get up and work a passion and not a job, but if you look at it from the employee standpoint, they've got to do a lot to help combat that damage, because they're looking at 25 to 40% of the workforce saying, I've had it, I'm out of here, I'm going to go do something else.
Right.
So they're going to have to do something about it. So I was looking at some articles, and we can talk about some of the suggestions that they talked about. They were saying that up to 25 to 40% max were considering quitting their jobs. And so what do employees do? And I hope Lisa will be able to jump on to this, because I'm sure she's got some great insight on this.
Oh, yeah, she does.
What they have to do to kind of save the sinking ship, And one of the articles I was reading was talking about how they really need to bolster communication. A lot of people, of course, are working virtually, so they need to work on having team meetings. Like we've talked before, we said that we thought that people should have the option of where they want to work, if it's feasible to do so. Why do you have to go into the office 2 days a week to be sitting around a conference table with somebody when you can do a virtual conference?
Right.
And in some respects, that's a win-win for employers, because they can go outside their geographical area to even hire people if they allow them to work virtually. You got to really pay attention to the job satisfaction. Get feedback from your employees. Allow your employees to actually give you feedback about their managers, and
Right.
let it be candid and open, and honest. Make it anonymous, because you need that. And hopefully they're not in a situation that they have to do anything negative, but there's a lot of people that leave their jobs because of a bad boss. No one's ever left a job because of a good leader, but they've left a job because of a bad boss. Um, uh, they talk about tuning into what the frustrations are. You know, maybe people feel like they're not necessary. Maybe they think, okay, just imagine you had small kids running around, you know, because you didn't have them in daycare or anything, and you're feeling like you might be scrutinized, or you have the perception that you're being scrutinized. You may not be scrutinized. Hey, Lisa. But that tension is there, that stress is there, that self-imposed stress is there. And what people need is the reassurance from their leaders that they are doing a great job. That the leadership understands the struggles that they have, that they may have to break their job up into different parts of the day and contend with little ones and contend with serving them lunch and contend with afternoon nap time and, you know, and give them the ability to adapt that to make it work and give them the reassurance that they are doing a good job. If they're not, help them figure out ways to make it work. Because we all know if you're stressed, you're not going to be as productive as you could. Because like Sandy says, you know, you're going to be afraid that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to feel pressured. You're going to feel confused. You're not going to have that mental clarity that you need to get the job done. So they talk about one of those. Hey, Lisa, it's great to see you.
Good to be here.
Yeah, we were talking about the Great Resignation, and upwards of 40% of the population considering calling it quits. And we were talking about what employees need to do to kind of take care of the damage.
Yeah.
Control the bleeding or save the sinking ship. And the first one we were just talking about, we were talking about bolstering the amount of communication that you have with people, whether they're in the office or they're working from home or they're doing a hybrid type situation, that they really need feedback. They need to be talking about job satisfaction, giving them the resources they need, helping them with IT issues, anything like that. Because, you know, everybody can have IT issues when you make that switch.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I'm dealing with one myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my computer, it's a laptop, and when I tried to open it up, the hinge broke. And so now the computer's only 2 months old, so now I can't open the screen.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's going to go back. And so I got to pack it up and send it back. And so I got to figure out, I'll just have to use my phone or whatever until then. But I can't use my camera on my computer. That's why I'm on my phone. So.
Hey, there's always more than one way to do it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Communication is a big one. You know, when you're working remote or a hybrid option, obviously, just being able to seem like you're part of the team still, you know, make it feel like you're still a part of the team, because you are, just because your location isn't in the office. So it's important to keep the communication alive, and managers or leaders need to understand that they still need to connect with people at home or working from a different location.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine if you were, let's just say you had a VPN that you were supposed to log into and you couldn't get logged in.
Right.
And well, just imagine, well, I've seen this in the office, that there have been people, because we used to have to log in on our computers every day. And there were people that were not able to log into the payroll thing that they had for whatever reason. And they were just going crazy thinking they're not going to get paid, you know.
That's not a good feeling.
You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. Don't worry. You know, but just imagine, I mean, that's stressful for people.
Well, it's stressful when it's something you're not comfortable with, for sure.
Right.
And if things are going the way they're supposed to, that adds stress. You know, thinking you can't do what you need to do or get logged into the payroll system, of course. All of that is stress, and you know, having regular check-ins when you're in a remote situation, I think can help with that. I mean, having IT available. Our company, the company I used to work for, we used a like a Snapchat type of program. It wasn't Snapchat, but it was like that where you could chat with people in different locations or wherever as long as they were logged in.
Uh-huh.
We could, when we were working remote, we could get a hold of IT and say, hey, we're having an issue or whatever.
Yeah.
So that all of those types of tools help.
Yeah. My son does IT, and if I have computer issues, he can log into my computer.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
makes it nice. That really makes it nice.
Right. That does help, especially when you don't know, when you don't know the technical aspect of computers. It definitely helps to have someone that can see what's going on. Sometimes it's hard to say, well, what about this or what about that? I'm sure Jason can attest to that kind of stuff. People don't know the terminology or whatever, so sometimes it helps to be able to log into a computer and see what's going on for themselves.
Yeah, I definitely get asked to that kind of stuff a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah. I say I taught my son all the patience that he has at work. Because he just kind of rolls his eyes. And, yeah. Luckily, I don't have to call him that often, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I tell him he says, don't worry, Mom. You're not like all the people that I have to help at work. That's good to know. One of the other things that they talked about, which is right up Sandy's alley, is working on the workflow of especially when you were making that transition to working remotely, helping people develop a workflow, help them realize how they need to communicate with people, because it's so different than being in the office. And, I have to laugh. It's not funny, but because some people take it really personal. But I remember the first time I saw somebody had done an email in all caps. Somebody got pissed off and really and like replied all. I'm I don't understand what's the big deal? And then somebody told me that, well, that means that you're yelling at them. And I said, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, never use all caps.
Yeah,
but unless you're celebrating something.
Yeah, but some people need help with communication. They need help with time management. If let's just say you were working in a work environment where you were more hands-on, and next thing you know, you're sending emails, and you really don't send a whole lot of emails because you're not maybe that technically savvy. I mean, I've worked with people like that like, okay, where do I log into my email, and how do you do reply all?
Right. Sure.
Yeah, and I think people need to learn the etiquette that there's some things you don't reply all to.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We actually had somebody at work once that sent out an email because somebody had taken her lunch out of the refrigerator. And this was down at our main office, but she proceeded to blast an email to everybody.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, that's not very adult-like,
Right.
Well, or stealing somebody's lunch, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I just replied, I hope somebody finds your lunch.
Right.
It wasn't me.
I'm sure it was a mistake.
But I think people need help with communication. It's good to always refresh our minds on communication. Some people need help with time management, especially when they have kids that they have to contend with. Some people need to learn how to demonstrate a little empathy and support other people, because when you're working from home and you've got kids at home and your kids might be sick or whatever, and you're trying to squeeze in work in between your children being sick, or coming into a phone call. I mean, I can't tell you how many Zoom calls I've had with people who work from home and their child wants to show up in the screen. And so, okay, No problem. And they're so apologetic, like it's like the end of the earth. And I'm just like, hey, it's no big deal. I had kids; they're grown now. But
Right. You
I
get it.
had a conversation with their kids, and they have a great time. I said, hey, I don't care.
Right.
Well, yeah,
So,
children just want to participate and be part of whatever's going on. It's in their nature.
yeah, it's like my dogs sometimes. Sometimes I'm on a call and I've got my dog sitting on one side and my daughter's dog sitting on the other side. And they both want loving. So here I am talking like this, loving the dogs. You just got to do what you got to do. Hey, it is what it is, right? Right.
Exactly.
And people need to work on being a team player. And they need help from management to do that. And we're all in this together. To me, there's a difference between, we've talked about this before, between a boss and a leader. And I was, before you jumped on, Lisa, I told Chris, I said, nobody leaves the job because of a good leader. They leave because of a bad boss.
Right. Exactly.
And I think of leadership is basically leading from behind and making everyone else better and leaving them better and helping them grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Although actually I do know people that have left, one of the companies that I work with because of a good leader. And the reason, though, is very different from when someone leaves because of a bad boss. In this case, it was because they left because they're starting up their own companies and eventually couldn't handle doing 2 jobs anymore. So, the leader was mentoring them into being able to do that. And of course, when that happens, they realize, okay, time to hire another person and start mentoring the next person.
Well, you would want to make sure that you would want somebody to succeed. Yeah. And I'd love to have people leave. If I were in a work environment, I would love to have people leave because they found something, not necessarily better per se, but something that filled their passion better, like starting your own business or something like that. I'm like, hey, that is fantastic. I'd love to see people do that.
Yeah. So I think the main difference isn't so much whether or not people leave, but why they leave.
Right. Right. One of the things we were talking about before you jumped on was this great resignation that they think is coming up, that up to 40% of people are going to be saying, I'm done. And looking at how to save the ship, so to speak. One of the things that they were also talking about was engaging with your employees and, not sitting in the corner office and not interacting with people, but get out there and get to know people, because that's going to help lower their stress, and they're going to feel like they're more informed on what is going on and they're not left in the dark, and they're going to be more willing to work together. Don't you think?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%, because the more that we actually extend an invitation to not only connect, impact, influence, and to really be that guide with them to get them to where they need to go, what's going to happen by very definition, I truly believe is what's going to happen is if I can help Carla get to where she needs to go, I will actually get to where I need to go. Same thing when it comes to Jason or Michelle or Lisa, Sandy, whoever that might be. It's that literally that duplication and replication effect on down the line. And not only can it be started at the top, it can be started at the very bottom, and we can meet in the middle at the very same table of humanity. We're already there. And then once we realize that, what can we not do in an organizational fashion or even in a community fashion? Because more often than not, companies today disconnect the community with the organization because they don't see that connectiveness. I truly believe that there's that connectiveness there. The very same community that we live in is the very same community that we work into as well.
How do you see that your organization connects with the community?
One person at a time, one day at a time, finding out what they are hearing from the heartbeat of humanity. And I truly believe in that. And if we get people that really wants to, like I said, inspire others and uplift others and find out what is keeping them back from being a part of something bigger than themselves? Do they get in their own way? Do others influence them in a negative way that it gets them in their own way? Whatever that might be, is having those conversations that are truly relatable, truly honest and open, and everyone can raise their voice and even express their humanity in their own unique way. Because the one thing we all want to be able to do is to be heard, to share our thoughts, have freedom of thought, and to be able to say, I'm not going to be ostracized for sharing an idea that it just might work if we allow it to at least be tried. And I truly believe in that, Carla.
So when you talk about community, you're talking about the employee community, not like the outside community. Like, okay, let's just say, for example, Publix, because Publix is down in Florida, and they give to community causes and things like that. You're not talking about that. You're talking about internal community. The employees.
They're both, to me, Carla, they're both one and the same. Because when you think about it, the very same causes they go out for the community for, it's just like what we were talking about yesterday when it comes to the internal customer. The very people that are working with you are your number one customer by default.
Okay.
So when you look at it from that kind of angle, what can you not achieve when it goes to those community causes? Because if you think of those people in the first, as they should be, not in the second, but think of them in the first versus you being in the first, then all those causes and all those things that are interconnected to one another, not only does it spill over into the community, but more often than not, the community gets spilled over and also into the organization too as well, because we know life happens. People have car troubles, or their aunt or uncle had to go to the hospital, whatever that might be. And see, if we can be truly human and lead with our humanity in that great human way, we can go out to the community and say, hey, we're here to help to serve you. And see, by doing that, you can not only create advocates in your own organization, but you literally create advocates in the very same community that you reside into as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, because, first thing that comes to mind with me with community is, organizations that give money, they do charity work, all sorts of things like that. But it's also the people that work with you. So
Right.
yeah, I can see where you can have two different aspects of the community there.
Hello, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. Glad you could
Hi.
join us.
I finally figured it out.
Yeah, what was the problem you were having?
I have no idea. I couldn't get in on my phone, so I put it in on my computer.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to have my husband bring me my hearing aids. I have everything go through my phone, so I can wear my my little earbuds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have an ancient computer. So kind of Bluetoothing to the computer doesn't work.
Well, I'm glad you could join us today.
Absolutely. We're glad that you're here, and we're glad Jason is here today. We greatly appreciate you being a part of the conversation. So what other articles did you find, Carla?
Well, but some other points that they talked about in this article that I was reading was talking about building successful onboarding systems and experiences for people. That I did not realize that said over half of the turnover occurs in the first year.
Wow.
So you really need a good onboarding program to be able to keep the people that you have.
Hmm. I can definitely see that, especially in the it can go for any business dynamic, to be honest with you. But for me, for the experience I've done, whether it be restaurant or retail, I can see that because they go through people like nobody's business.
I was going to say food service and retail have got to be huge for
Yeah.
turnover.
It is. I mean, I mean, I'm sure Michelle can share a story with you about Walmart. I'm sure.
Oh, I'll share my story about Walmart if you want to hear it. I don't know, Chris.
Share your story with us about what happened with you at Walmart.
Oh my heavens! So I started at Kmart, and Kmart wasn't helping me out. You know, I wanted a little bit more. I'm like, train me as a cashier so I can go help out in the jewelry department. And they wouldn't do it. And so I applied at Walmart, and the manager from Walmart actually came in to Kmart, and I was working a domestic shift that night, and he came in and I helped him with the towels, and he was looking for a specific brand, and so he basically offered me a job at Walmart. And I told him, I said, well, I've already been hired as a cashier. And so he just said, he said, well, come in, we'll train you as a cashier, and then we'll get you over to domestic. So back out for a while, and then they started pulling me in on my days off, or they would start training me in all these other departments, so that I was basically cross-trained throughout the store. And I went to them and I said, look, you cross-trained me through the entire store. This is what I want to do for your company. This is what I want to do for the store. I want to be a customer service manager. Just give me the key and let me run with it. And I'll be, I told them, I said, I'm really good at this. You're all these different departments. And they didn't, they just, they kept giving me, they give me keys, send me back to garden center. The last night I worked, they put me in as the door greeter, and I'm not saying a door greeter is like a low man position, because you're the first person they meet when you come in the door. But I wanted more. They were pulling me in all departments and cross training me in all these departments, and I was like, I need more. And so I finally was just like, you know what? But it was a good. I think the timing of me leaving. So I finally said, you know what? I'm done. If you're gonna jerk me around the store, I can't do this. Around the time that I was diagnosed with ADHD as well, so it gave me kind of like I'm done. I quit. You don't get 2 weeks notice from me. I'm sorry. I couldn't. After what they did to me, I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had to be done.
It's great that you knew your worth and you could say, look at what I've done for you. And
Mhm.
you weren't asking for much. You were asking to improve yourself,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
was going to in turn be a win-win for them.
Yeah, yeah. They just take these kids. I mean, I was very out of high school myself, but I value customer service. The one thing that they always did in our morning meetings was uh, Chris, I don't know if they did this at the Walmart that you worked at, but I know they did this at the one that I worked at. It was always like the customer first, always, and we did this like always kind of big cheer thing. And even when I worked at Kmart, I was telling Chris this when I first had a call with him. I I got to know the customers on a personal level, so much so that there was like one thing that I remember specifically with family. They would find out when I would go take my lunch, and then they would come in to go shopping when they knew I had my lunch, so they could come and sit with me while I was taking my lunch break. But that's just how much I valued the customers. The customers were always like so important, and yeah. I
Yeah.
just
Without customers, you don't have a business.
exactly right. Yeah, it just kind of it kind of made me think, why aren't your employees more? But
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, that they need to, the companies should value their employees as much, if not more, than their customers. Yes, customers are great. You
yeah,
need customers coming in the door, but you need to have a happy place that they look forward to coming to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I look at my husband. My husband now works for Target, and Target they really value him as an employee, and I see that with the other employees as well. he was just in a he passed out at work back in January, and I can't remember who it was. It's not the manager of the store, but it's one of the higher ups. And he actually went to my husband and he said, if you need help paying for this medical bill, just bring it in and we'll help you pay the medical bill. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that was actually where I wanted to go after I left Walmart. I wanted to go to Target, see what Target would have to offer me. And I was never able to get with Target. But the job I have now is perfect. It's exactly what, it took me about 20 years to get it, 20 years to wait for it. But,
mine came after 40, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, so all for the best. But yeah, I go into a Walmart store and I'm just
Jason, you had talked about knowing people that had left the workforce, and one of them was because of starting their own business. Do you have other stories to share? People you know, or not necessarily in your industry, or?
Well, it's actually not in my industry. It's actually a training company that I've participated in, from the customer side, as well as one of their affiliates, referring business to them. It's called Make Your Mark. I'm not sure if any of you ever heard of speaker Colin Sprake, who's shared the stage with guys like she was suddenly forgetting people's names. Now, it's been such a long time since I've seen any public speakers speak, but the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
Guy and all that. Huh? Yeah, so this guy, Colin Sprake, he's shared stages with guys like that, Richard Branson, and people of that caliber. So, anyways, and he has a training company based out of the Vancouver area called Make Your Mark. And one of the things he does, he encourages and mentors his staff to pursue their own business dreams. So frequently you'll get staff turning over as they are building up their own businesses, and eventually grows to the point where they have to now do it full time. So they obviously can't continue staying on it, Make Your Mark. So that's where the example I was getting at is the people leaving because of a good leader, is because the leaders help them grow into their next stage of their career.
Yeah, I like to see stories like that, and that's a sign of a good leader, that they're happy to see other people move forward and succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know I worked with a company for 14 years, and the only reason why I left is because I had got my master's in women's health and wanted to go on to a higher position, and they had changed their practice model, and I wasn't able to function as a nurse practitioner in that practice model. And I hated the fact that I had to leave. I'd probably still be working for them today if they had an opportunity. But I will have to say I had great management there, or a great leader there. I never had to really encounter with leadership at all. I was one of these people. A lot of people would complain that there was always a new way of doing something, and they were like, oh, there's always this change. And I said, if you get one or two a day, or a couple of weeks, you want it spread out over the week, or you want it on Friday afternoon, things are going to change. We're going to have better ways of doing things. But I never really had any issues with leadership that I worked with. It was great. I was left to do my job, and they knew I would do it and then some.
Yeah.
So
that's when it comes to the real world. The phrase, the old cliche, "change is the only constant," is true.
Mm-hmm.
So you
can
either embrace the change and
better ways of doing
adapt to it, or be the guiding force of the change to guide the change to be what you want it to be, or you'll get run over by it.
Right.
That's
Right.
true. Mhm.
Great to have you
And-
back, Lisa.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I lost service or something. My internet went out for a second. So fun.
That darn technology, you can never count on it. I swear. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Chris,
Yeah.
your screen is flickering.
Technology is great when it works. That's the saying I have when things like that happen.
Yeah. It works
Yeah.
when it works great, right?
It works, yeah. You just never know sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you
have
never
a
know.
message that says switch to a desktop computer for the best experience.
Yeah.
Even
So-
those can be tricky.
Mhm.
I got that same thing on my phone. I kept trying to log in with my phone, so I'm on my computer. I don't like it, but
Yeah.
it's what it is.
Well,
But as far as technology goes, I ran into my own experience of technology is great when it works earlier this week because I started the week off with my phone bricked itself, so I had to go out and buy a brand new one
Oh,
right on
gosh.
Monday. So
Happy Monday.
That's
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
yeah, I mean the new phone I got is so far is looking awesome. It's just taking me a little while to get used to it.
Are you an
and where everything is
iPhone
on.
or an Android?
That's Android.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
Got
I got
the Android.
Nokia. So got a Nokia. I could have gotten a Samsung for a little bit cheaper, but I've liked Nokia's customer support, so it was worth the extra bit to
What did you end up getting?
Nokia.
Nokia? Well, I didn't
Yeah.
know they were still making phones.
They still do.
Wow.
They do.
Yeah, and they
They do.
have excellent customer service. That's one thing I found out because my previous phone was also Nokia. It was just like a really old model that I got on clearance, and again, probably the reason it eventually bricked itself is it was just too outdated for the version of Android that was getting pushed
Yeah.
onto it.
Yeah, and that happens. But coming back to when it comes to leaving companies today, or even any time in our history, the old adage is true, and I truly believe it. People leave not because of the company; they leave the company because of bad leaders or bad management. And to me, we have, I'll go right back to the 21 irreformable laws of leadership when John C. Maxwell says this: we equate the big myth as being true when in fact it is that very myth. That we equate leadership and management to be one and the same, but they're two polar opposites of the spectrum. They're not even remotely close. But I do see that day, and that's why we're all here on this call today, that we want to have leadership be in concert with the day-to-day operations of an organization. They really are stepping into their humanity in such a way that they're giving people the opportunity to express their humanity in their own unique way, ask questions, and that really can be powerful and motivating and collaborative and sparks the creativity factor and all that kind of great stuff. Because it's like I tell people every day, it's like when you build that field of dreams, when you build it, they will come. And once we build that field of dreams for others in organizations today on every single level of every single business model that there is, they will go and thrive more exponentially like no other time in human history because we're allowing that growth to happen. And that's why I believe in the human development factor versus personal development or professional development. They're interconnected and intertwined. And if we can embrace that, what can we not achieve, not only as a human race, but leaders and also partners inside organizations today to get to that next level of growth, that next level of success, that next level of inspiration and impact? What can we not do if we just allow that to flourish and occur in such a way that everyone can have a piece of that opportunity? Because once that opportunity knocks on your door, are you going to accept it or are you just going to let it pass you by?
Well, I think we all need to be working on personal development, and we also need to work on how we treat each other
Mhm.
and help each other grow.
Agreed. I think,
Yeah.
again, that just goes back to our mission, lifting others up, right? If we build ourselves up, we can help build other people up, and it just goes full circle. And I also think that an exceptional leader, they stand out from the rest, and they don't have to work as hard as, say, a manager would to get people to do things, because people want to do things for an exceptional leader. It's almost like it's a natural thing. When you have an exceptional leader, it's somebody who cares about the person or the people as well as the needs of the company or the needs of the positions. So an exceptional leader, if they have if you could call them an exceptional leader, they have those qualities where they care about the people that work for them on a human level, and understand what's needed so that the individual will want to do their job to the best of their ability. Most people want to do their job to the best of their abilities anyways, but working with a manager or someone who's not an exceptional or an inspirational leader can be demotivating. And people don't even realize it's demotivating until they're in a rut, or until they're just not happy anymore. And then they're like, what's going on here?
Well, how many times have we been in a job before and you look, well, I've got several years of history, that you've said, well, I know what kind of leader I don't want to be. And just imagine if you are a great leader and you're working to foster a great team that's working together, it's great to know that what you are doing in a positive way is rubbing off on one of your employees. And then when they go and have the opportunity to be in a leadership position, then whether it be in another department, another company, or whatever, they're taking that positivity and that great leader ability that they got from you because you cared about people, and taking that on to the next job or the next department. And it just spreads.
Right.
I want to be known because I'm a great leader, because I inspired people and helped people work together, not because people thought I was a flaming you-know-what.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't want to be known that way. Nobody wants to be known that in the negative like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think most people...
It goes back to leaving people better.
Making them better, helping them be better people. And I think the company behind the leader has to make the policies available to allow the leader to be that inspirational, good leader too. If there's too many pressures on the leader, if there's too many things negative coming at them, it can throw a fork or a wrench in their path to being a good leader too.
Yes.
So it's all full circle. I mean, if you have employees that don't care about what they're doing or whatever, that can affect the whole team too. But as a leader, it's up to us to figure out, what do we do to get around that, to make it better.
Well, just imagine you're in a leadership position, everything's humming along great, and you've got this desire or you have this opportunity that comes up and you want to take advantage of it. It's so much easier going in and saying, hey, I love this company, but I have this great opportunity. I can't say no to it. Or maybe you finally decide you want to start your own business, or, take it from a gig type thing to that's your sole business that you're doing. And it's so much easier that if you've got that great leader mentality and those great things set up and your team is running effectively, that you can go in and say, without guilt, that I really would like to take advantage of this opportunity that's presented to me. I know that Susie over here would be a great replacement for me.
Mhm.
And leaders, like John C. Maxwell says, leaders develop leaders.
Right. They build more leaders. Right.
And somebody that's not willing to develop a leader has some insecurities in themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I got to get going because I got to get some lunch, and I have an afternoon of work to do, including putting together the project plan for your guys' new website. So I'll see all you guys next week, and hope you
Okay.
have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.
Okay,
Bye.
you too. Take
Yeah.
care, Jason.
So you're absolutely right on that, Carla. You are leaders develop leaders, and what happens with that too as well. When leaders build leaders, that creates more followers as well, because people are not going to follow just people just blindly off the cliff.
Mhm.
Leaders build that following. And
Mhm.
also within that following, there are also those very leaders who can develop those other leaders too as well, because it's like the 360-degree leader. Everyone can be a leader.
Mhm.
You
Right.
know,
I look at leadership as, yes, there's somebody that has to be the leader, but I think of, if I was going to draw a picture, I would think of ducks. I'm not the mama duck with the babies following along the side. I'm actually arm in arm with everybody saying, come on, we're going to get this done.
Right.
Or I'm behind them, helping them get done what they have to get done. And you need help with that? Okay. You have
Right.
trouble with that? Here you go. You need resources for that? Here you go. To
Right.
allow them to do the best job that they can do.
exactly.
It's not about me.
Right. Well, leaders there to make sure the tools that people have the tools they need to be successful, right? The tools that they need to get the job done. And sometimes the leaders right along with them, working with them to get it done. And most of the time when you see a successful team, the leader is right there with them in the trenches, doing whatever needs to get done too. So so yeah, it's a unit, it's a team, and that leader is just there to guide and to help. Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. So what suggestions would you have, Lisa, for mitigating this great resignation that supposedly is coming?
So for me, mitigating tactics could be, I think, some sort of a stay interview conducted by managers that finds out what it is people want. What can we do as leaders, as an organization? What can we do to keep you? We don't want to lose you. This is going to cost companies a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The loss of knowledge and monetary, it's going to be huge when these people just get up and leave. And it's going to happen. I think it's already happened.
Yeah. I think you had dropped off for a second when we were talking about this before, that this article I was reading said that over half the turnover happens in the first year. And Chris was talking about how great that is, a problem that is in retail and the food industry, in restaurants. Fast food.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a huge issue in manufacturing because they look at turnover. So for a production position, and it's probably similar to restaurants and in the hotel industry and whatnot, the hospitality industry. You got to look at their cost of turnover is anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 per person.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that high.
Depending on the position, but it also depends on the type of training that's needed and things like that. But you got to figure with manufacturing, you have people trained and they up and leave, or you have a someone in HR or someone in finance or whatnot in any industry. And if you lose them, it could be even more money per person that you lose, because all that training, all that knowledge loss, all of that affects your company.
Mm-hmm.
So I think organizations, leaders need to understand, what can we do to keep you? What are the things that you need to be happy so that you don't want to leave?
Yeah, that when you were talking about the cost per training, it reminded me of a friend of mine that was going to do some remote call center work, and she was applying for jobs, and they said, "Okay, so we're going to train you for the first 2 weeks, but we're not going to pay you."
Wow.
She said, "No, thank you."
No kidding.
No,
wow.
Thank you. And then the only thing I could think of is that they were investing so much into training people, and maybe not in the most effective way, that they were losing a lot of money, that they couldn't keep people.
Right. So those organizations need to learn what it is that people want. Do they want to work partially remote? Do they want a more flexible work environment, or whatever it is? And there's a lot of things you can do, even in manufacturing, that allow you to have a more flexible workplace.
Right.
You can do things like part-time, or you can do job shares and different things like that, even in other positions. So I think it's important to understand what people want, what will make them happy, what do they need. When I in my last position, we lost quite a few people last year because they had to stay home and homeschool their children.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about the 8 million people that had left the workplace.
Yeah, and we weren't really prepared at that point to offer them alternatives other than going to a different shift. We can temporarily put you on a different shift, and we can do this or that, but that didn't work for everyone. So
we initially started talking about that, and we were talking about, even though I don't like to be talking about COVID or anything, everyone's got their opinions about it and whatever, but now I jokingly last week had told somebody that, are we going to be going through the Greek alphabet on different strains of the coronavirus, and what's going to be next? And somebody sent me an email today that said Gamma is next. And I'm like, oh my God, here we're supposed to be sending kids back to school. Parents are going to be going back to work or whatever. And now it's like, okay, are we going to shut down again? Are we going to do this? We're going to do that. People are under so much stress, and there's a lot of them are trying to work. Are they going to go back to the office, or are they not? And I can understand why some people were just going to throw their hands and say, I'm done,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, when it comes to that, though, ladies, I can't let anything get in my way of doing what I was meant to do. Yeah, life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. But it's what you do with that can really define you, and also define the outcome that you're seeking. So if you're going to live in that very fear and live in that very bubble, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be a part of something bigger than yourself. You're not going to inspire others, because you're putting up those very barriers that you swore that you would never do, but you do it.
You're not going to grow.
Exactly. So Michelle, what would be the things that you would like to share about giving advice to corporations and companies, large and small, that will keep people engaged and involved in their organizations today?
I don't have an answer for that right now. I'm sorry. I'm going to kind of pass on that question for just a second. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for that right now.
Okay. Well, we would love for you to answer it when you can. Like I said, I know that there are people out there who are clamoring for a better way, different way, a thing that can really bring them together at the table of humanity. Because once we, like I said, hear from the heartbeat of humanity, what they really want to be a part of, I truly believe that there's something that we cannot do. So, what would be today's call to action, Carla?
I was going to ask you that question. You go first. You always send the
Okay.
call to action, so I'm putting you in the hot seat.
Well, I'm in that seat. That is true. I'm hopping up. I would just say, ladies, number one, just be human. Just lead with your humanity. Be honest. Be respectful. Just be patient with people. Hear from them. I mean, truly hear, not just listen, but truly hear what they're wanting to do. Just do that first, and just always be open minded and open hearted, and don't get in your own way. And don't let others, even from a leadership position, define you in a way that's going to be in a negative. So that would be my call to action.
Well, I'll add to that and say manage your stress. We've certainly been under a lot of it. If you're looking for something, don't say, I'm just going to go do something. You have the opportunity to work a passion and not a job. Do it. Even if you have to do it part-time. Yes, it's a little chaotic at first, but it is worth it in the end. It's simpler than you think. It takes more time than you think, which is okay. But when you're actually working a passion and not just a job, every second is worth it.
And that's why we're here. That is why we are here. You're spot on. That's so well said.
Exactly. And
Call
so
to action.
my call to action would be just build good, positive relationships with people. Get out there, build good, positive relationships with people. It only helps us all in the end.
And don't expect anything in return. Just
Exactly.
because then you never know what's going to come back at you, and leave them better. That's all you need to do is leave them better.
Exactly.
Leave them better from once they came into the conversation or experience or the opportunity. And if you can do that, the opportunity may not only be more plentiful, but it'll be more impactful. And I truly believe in that, ladies. I do.
I do too.
For sure.
So just to let everybody know, next week, our conversations for next week will be actually scheduled on another platform will be called StreamYard. So I just want to let you know there will be StreamYard in the next 6 weeks. So if you do see a link from StreamYard, hopefully you can have no issues getting on, and we'll be on the StreamYard platform starting next week. So if you'd like to be able to know more about bringing humanity together or what we've talked about today, please reach out to me, Carla, or Lisa, and we would love to have a great and engaging conversation with you. And Michelle, no worries. Computers happen, things happen.
That's life.
That's life.
Don't stress over it, Michelle. We're good. We still love you.
Exactly.
So
Thanks
no
for joining
worries.
us, Michelle.
So we're so glad that you wanted to be a part of this organization and movement, Michelle. We're so glad and thankful and honored, and more importantly, humbled that you're here. And we greatly appreciate you so much. So let's keep doing this one day at a time with one person in mind, and even turning it into one community at a time. And what's going to end up happening, ladies, I truly believe it. One company at a time will not only change for the better, it will literally change lives for the better too as well. And I truly believe that. So ladies, I greatly appreciate you so much for being on this journey with me and with each other. Bringing humanity together, it's not going to be a matter if we're going to get big and impact. It's only going to be a matter of when and who's on board. That's it. That's the only difference. So
Exactly.
thank you all, and I greatly appreciate you guys. Have a great engaging day today and the rest of your week. And what's on tap for the 19th hole there, Carla?
What is that?
What's up? What's on tap for the 19th hole?
Oh, today
Yeah.
I have to go to Target and return some lampshades.
Well, talking about Target already, you have to go to Target now and go to return lampshades.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah.
Target. That's what Michelle said.
Oh, you like that?
As we call it down here down south, Target.
Who doesn't love? Yeah, who doesn't love Target?
You know what? I think it's probably the first time I've been in Target all year long. But I thought that they had better lampshade replacements than Walmart. And then I got them home. I didn't quite like them, and Walmart got a better replacement shade. So.
Yes. So, ladies, can't wait to have the next engaging conversation with you. And Michelle, like I said, just let us know how you'd like to be a part of our organization. We'd like to have you a part of that. And let's just keep moving forward one day at a time, one person at a time. And we greatly appreciate you.
Great, Chris. You guys have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.